Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome back to I Am Practically Spiritual podcast. And I am Janet Weissman, and I am here as always with
Carlos Felipe.
Right, and here we are. Each podcast, which is, not a long one, is going through 7 of the lessons from the workbook of A Course in Miracles. So this is our third podcast. So today we will be reviewing lessons 15 through 21. And again, it's just a short review. This is not to replace you actually doing the lessons. We highly recommend that and highly recommend doing the practicing as it is instructed throughout the lessons, sometimes a couple of minutes, sometimes 5 times a day. Eventually it'll be more, but we're being spoon-fed, you could say, the details of how this is going to unfold and positively impact our world. Today's episode, the previous 7 lessons were indeed about thinking and seeing, and today we're also dealing with seeing. And what do my thoughts play? What part do my thoughts play in the presentation of the outside world? I think there's a lot of stuff going on outside of me. Oh, that's a hard one to realize, that eventually it's all an inside job. But right now we're just going to indicate that, but not enforce it at this moment.
And I would like to ask for those of you that follow us, is how the assignment for last time was to notice when your thoughts were on the past. So we wanted to just remind you and ask you about that, your thoughts. How many of you guys were able to notice when your thoughts were in the past?
Right. And if you have the opportunity to drop us a line, make a comment at the end of the podcast, we would love to hear from you. So lesson 15 are my thoughts are images that I have made. And all I can say is beware of those light episodes which are mentioned in this lesson, which sometimes has been a controversial topic. But what these light episodes are, when I am able to begin to see or sense the light around everything and everyone, that is what the Course will tell us is actually the beginning of real vision, that we can see truly, which is a big difference than when we're only using the body's eyes. And then we go on to lesson 16, that I have no neutral thoughts, because every thought that passes through my mind leaves a residue of an image, just like after you cook and there's a residue of the oil in the pan. That's kind of the same thing. And every residue of my thoughts makes or creates, and that's something that I talk about a lot. So those residue, those non-neutral thoughts, what are they making or creating and setting up in my mind? You want to say something about that, Felipe?
That is key to understand the power of our thoughts, and they are never neutral. So that's why it's the importance and the invitation that we have in all these lessons is to begin to look at your thoughts, what they are.
Right. So I have no neutral thoughts, and lesson 17 told me, so if I have no neutral thoughts, I see no neutral things. Well, this lesson is very much a revisitation of lesson 2, and you'll see how well these lessons all truly weave together. In lesson 2, we were told that I've given everything all the meaning it has for me. So if I've already given everything a meaning, okay, there's no way it can be neutral because I've already judged it. So I'm not looking at anything neutral. I'm not seeing any neutral bodies, because the thoughts that I have about bodies are not neutral. And that will be something that will play in much more in months to come. Lesson 18 was I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. All of our minds are joined, and that may not be a welcome thought. And I go, yikes, I'm not alone experiencing the effects of my seeing. Everyone is experiencing exactly what I am, and then I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. So whatever I'm seeing or whatever I'm thinking, that our minds are joined, so everyone gets to have that experience with me. Lesson 15 mentioned our shared illusions, so you can see how that weaves in and ties it up so very nicely. But then lesson 20 is a lesson of empowerment. I'm determined. I'm determined to see. And for this to happen, we need to have some structure and our desire for salvation. Salvation can be a tough word. I think we said it last time. So we can easily replace the word salvation with the word freedom, because in truth, salvation is freedom and freedom is salvation. So our desire for freedom and happiness and peace, but we cannot have all of these with an undisciplined, chaotic mind. We want to change our current state of thinking and being for a better one.
Yeah, I'm determined to see is the invitation that we can see differently, because we haven't experienced the potential of what we have, true joy and the great things. So this lesson is very important. I'm determined to see. Right now I cannot see it, but if I stay with it, I'm determined to see. You will be shown the way.
Right. And so then the Course is, brilliant in how it follows up with, and I'm determined to see things differently. So let's look at what is upsetting so that we can see it differently. Remember from lesson 5 that there are no small upsets. I'm either in peace or I am not. So if we pick one thing that's upsetting us and now ask to see it in a different way, this is going to take us some time. We're going to have to really go into a mind searching space and quiet our mind and quiet ourself, our chaotic minds, our chaotic lives. Learn to take in a breath, take in a big breath and let it go, and then settle into, what is this? What is this that is happening that I'm determined to see differently? And we get to be specific, whether it's a person, it's a situation, it's a judgment from someone else. What are we looking at? Pick that one thing. If I am able to see one thing, just one thing differently, that's going to open up the way for me to see everything differently. What do you think of that, Felipe?
Yeah, it is what you said, very important, because to understand what has us upset, and we usually are upset when things don't work the way we want them to work. And whenever that's the case, we get upset, mad, irritated. And so that you could agree that a lot of the time, and most of the time, we can be in that space.
Yeah.
But this is the invitation to first, let's be aware of it, right? If you want to change something, you first need to be aware of it. And this is the invitation that is made. In this way, the Course is very gentle. It's guiding us, it knows where we're at. And that's one thing about practical spiritual. One thing that I want to share is that the Course will always meet you where you're at. Don't think that you have to change something in order to be able to engage with this Course. The Holy Spirit knows exactly where you're at, and it will meet you where you're at. So just relax and do the exercises as they are asked. That's very important, because this is a quick review, but it's never going to replace. And in order for the effects of the Course to get to you, you need to do fully the lessons every time fully. And for that, I advise you to. Janet has a wonderful repertoire of all the lessons. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the plug. I really appreciate it. I have a YouTube channel. It's at Janet Weissman, Weissman, in case you didn't know. And there are all of the 365 lessons in the workbook and multiple videos of each one. There's over 1,800 there, so you'll be able to just plug in the name of the lesson, the number of the lesson that you're looking for, and things will pop up, I'm sure. But getting back to this, I'm determined to see things differently, and I'm determined to see, and I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thinking or my seeing. We have to realize we're not seeing the real world, and that would be with a capital R and a capital W. The world that we have grown accustomed to see when we open up our eyes each day has been dictated to us by ego thoughts. And so everything that I'm seeing is actually a form of separation. If we can go back to that lesson 15 and talking about those light episodes, it's a joining, being able to see or feel those little edges of light around everything around us. That's an indication that there is light. There is light in everyone and everything around us. One of my favorite phrases in the Course is all living things, and all living things have light within them. We have a lesson yet to come. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. So as being the light of the world, you have light within you. And everyone else, you notice I didn't say everybody, everyone else also contains those beautiful luminescence radiances. Okay, when we can start to see that and feel that around us, we're beginning to appreciate the reality and the connectedness that has been given to us as part of our inheritance from our Father, our Source, our Creator, Great Spirit, however the name works for you. Because understanding that the one great problem that we have that has presented itself, and why doing these lessons, why A Course in Miracles came into our awareness, is because we feel we are separate. I don't feel connected to you. But if I start to see the light in you, and I realize I only see it because I have it, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. My mind and yours are joined. So when I can see that light, I know, well, it came from within me. Remember, an inside job. So this starts to take the harsh edges off of this world. And let's face it, this world has a lot of harsh edges. We want to smooth them out. We are meant to enjoy and experience love and happiness and peace. This is who we are. This is from whence we came. So every time we get to soften our viewpoint, we get to expand our life.
Yeah, the timing is perfect, because right now, doesn't matter where you're at in the world, you can agree that the world is chaotic, it's changing, many things are changing. But that's the perfect invitation. What the Course does is for us, this world is upside down. Little by little, we have to, all these first lessons, the first log was not to judge, because we don't know, right? And then is where we put our attention. Put attention to where you put your attention. And then now is this block, we see that our thoughts are never neutral. So little by little, right? Because the promise of the Course is to bring us to a more peaceful place. That peace is not going to be obtained outside in the world. We can all agree on that, especially nowadays. But that makes it even more simple, because your choice is, all right, if we need to look for that peace, we have to go inside. Not to judge. We have to build that spiritual muscle, not to judge. Put attention to the thoughts and where we put our attention, right? We're asking to be responsible about that. And today, to wrap it all up, understanding that it's very important where we put our thoughts is no thought is neutral. No thought is neutral. So let's be aware of that, and this practice will help us to realize how those thoughts have an effect.
Right. So the homework this week is simply what Felipe said. For us to notice, where am I thinking, and how have I removed all neutrality from what I'm looking at? Every thought is giving me a judgment, and those judgments are certainly not neutral. Even if it seems more of a happy thought, that sort of indicates that on the other side of it, there was something that was not so very happy. So practice looking at someone or something and making no judgments.
Yeah,
Making
absolutely.
no judgments.
That's, I think, the foundation, to be aware of not making judgments. And then after that is your thoughts. There's no natural thought. Whatever thought you have is going to affect, let's say, the cause and effect of it. So let's be aware of that. Why is this a call for responsibility? Because then you are able to see that you are a co-participant in what's happening in your life. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Are you judging? No thought is neutral. So that's a big invitation.
Right. And try to get to have at least one experience of total neutrality. I'm not going to judge this as good or bad. I'm just going to look at it and let it be. Just let it be, or if we can go with one of my favorite philosophies of Frozen, let it go. Just let it go. I don't need to hold on to it. I don't need to make a judgment about it. I don't need to give it a meaning. Let me just view it almost as I was in an art museum, and I'm just looking at the pictures, and I'm not making any oh, that was a good artist. Oh, that was a bad artist. Oh, he was a famous artist. Just appreciate the art as it is, and not allow it to give me any additional thoughts. Just to be in the moment with it. Be present with it.
Yeah. Very important to make that spiritual muscle stronger. Also, don't begin with the big things in your life, all right? I think it's better for these practices is to begin. Don't go with the big issues and with somebody that you really have a big beef, but just begin with little stuff. Like, I love the example that Janet gave about the supermarket, or the little things in your everyday. Just begin observing there, then they will become more real, and then you can just keep increasing the intensity, let's say.
So your homework is to notice your thoughts and realize that they're never neutral. But the other thing, and we don't ever want to forget to remind everyone to breathe. Deep breath in, total release. Get rid of all the cluttering thoughts, and remember to smile. Smiling, it is beneficial to you, and it is beneficial to everyone around you. And I have a student who collects smiles. See if you can collect smiles this week, and notice how many did you collect. So
have a great practice, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.